So since my background is a research, so probably this will be like more of a bit technical talk. So just to start before the talk, like how many of you here work on speech? Oh, you're here? Nice, 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 nice. So so this I have um, prepared the slide says that this talk is for the beginners who want to get started with the speech. Probably they will have a brief understanding of what's going on in speech area and voice AI in general. So this talk is quite basic, like this slide. So you have very basics of like what speech is and what voice AI looks like, and what are the different topics in this particular area, and how do we quickly get started, right? So this talk is for beginners, not for experts. So if you're experts, let's talk offline. Okay. So whenever you start with like any AI training any AI model, right? When I say AI model, nowadays we are like having I mean, deep neural networks are like more in focus. But whenever we say AI models, so models can be anything, right? You know, the statistical model and any different type of models. Whenever you start with anything in AI, you start with some modality, right? You take vision, you take text, you take speech, you take any type of input signals, right? It just it takes something in and gives you something out, right? So what makes speech that different? So when I say speech, it's kind of interchangeable, speech and voice and audio, of course. So so if you see the below plot over here, so this is a time domain speech signal, and the plot on top of it, it's called as a frequency domain signal, right? So you do this something called as a fast Fourier transform. It's a beautiful equation that converts this time domain signal to the frequency domain signal, right? Once you convert into the frequency domain, you can do a lot of fancy things on top of speech, right? So, for example, if you run like a vision model and you see that model is not performing well, probably you can just open the image and you can see, oh, this is cat, but this is kind of classifying it as dog, right? So it's a bit easier. But looking at this is kind of a bit difficult, right? So that's why people think that speech is difficult, but it's not actually, because nowadays everything is converting into tokenization and stuff. So this particular thing, the above plot is called spectrogram. You can see it's kind of showing the word understanding sound. What can you do with this particular small clip of speech is like you can identify what the content has been spoken. For example, understanding sound is the content. Who is the speaker? You can identify the speaker's uh, health condition, whether the speaker is having any physical health condition or mental health condition. Then you can identify gender, emotion, age, language, accent, whatnot, right? So this small piece of speech contains lot of information. So that's the reason it's a very complex signal. Okay. And you can also estimate like stress level, noise, background noise, and many things. So this is what happens behind the scene. Okay, what kind of most of us work on. So if you have this voice assistant, then you give some signals, you give some commands to the voice assistant. It takes to the background models, right? So first thing is done is something called the speaker diarization, which actually identifies who spoke when in the signal, in the input signal. And once you divide that into the different speakers, you pass it to the speaker identification module to identify if the speaker who is talking is, you know, it's like a voice biometric, right? And then you also perform speech recognition, which is called, which is used for identifying what's the content in the speech, right? Because that's what you are interested in. And then you put all those things together in the natural language understanding block, where all the things happen, right? So the speaker is right, the content is right. Now we have to understand what the speaker intention was, right? Just simply say, switch on the light, Alexa, switch on the light, right? So how does it work behind the scene? This is how it actually works. This is a very broad overview, but there are like many small nuances. Let's not get into that. Um, Okay, and then another area which is quite interesting nowadays is like nowadays people don't want to send their voice to the servers, right? So what can we do to prevent the privacy of the speakers, right? Can we do everything on device? So nowadays we have very efficient phones, mobile phones, smart speakers, and smart watches, right? You have like a lot of other things that can be that can have like a good processing power. So this is kind of one of the more hot research or development area in speech. And then there are many other topics in speech where you have like speech to speech translation. So like it's, so the model can be like one to many or many to many. So when I say one to many, you convert English to different languages, or you have like multiple languages input and provide, you know, multiple languages as output. And deep audio fakes is one of the concerns that is currently we are dealing with. And you can do like, you can detect the deep fakes, you can generate deep fakes, you can actually also prevent the deep fakes, right? So these are very active area of researches. And also in healthcare, where I have worked a lot in this particular area, detecting dementia and Alzheimer's from the speech. For instance, if just imagine if your phone says you, hey, you are going to get dementia probably 5 years down the line from now, just start consulting with your therapist or something like that. So that would be really cool, right? Because dementia or Alzheimer is something like that we can actually prevent by doing certain kind of exercises, or, you know, certain kind of not medications, but certain kind of exercises. So this is a very important area of research that people have been looking into. And of course, with ALS, people lose their voices. So how do you help them to, you know, again gain their voices? You just record their voice a bit, and then whenever they try to speak, you take the input, the current voice as an input, and then, you know, refine it, and then you make it like a better sounding voice. So ALS is also one of the most deadliest disease. And of course, speech, COVID, people have been putting some research papers with COVID as a speech research. How to get started, right? So if you are a beginner, there are a lot of things to do, but we have something called as like, there are different open source toolkits that are available. So you can try SpeechBrain. SpeechBrain is a very simple, easy to use speech toolkit. Anyone can just get started with it. You just install pip install, and then, you know, just train your model, and, you know, you can do a lot of things with that. ESPNet is another thing which is pretty cool. There are like a lot of pre-trained models available in that. And for the people who are in industries and, you know, want to make a production level models, probably go for like K2 and Kaldi kind of setup. So these are just, this is just a snapshot of what we provide in SpeechBrain. You can have like a lot of more details on the website. We provide like different, like many models on speech recognition, speaker recognition, speech separation, speech enhancement, then interpretability, generation, of course, vocoding, and also understanding. And there are like a lot of other models you can find there. As I said, it's quite simple. You just pip install SpeechBrain, and you do this train and just pass the YAML file. YAML file is just a configuration file of your model, whatever model you want to use. It's as simple as that. And also, if you want to use pre-trained model, like self-supervised pre-trained model or any kind of such kind of models, just use encoder decoder ASR. ASR stands for automatic speech recognition, but you have encoder decoder set up for different tasks as well. And we also provide a lot of pre-trained models on Hugging Face, which can be directly used. Yeah, that's it. It was pretty short talk. I hope it was not boring. Please feel free to ask questions if you have any.